Hi, my friends. Hello, here I am. It's Heather Nelson here with a live called Maximizing Year End for Corporate Partnership Success. Welcome. Please say hi in the chat. Tell me where you're from, what organization you're joining me from. I have to tell you, as I was getting ready for this presentation, I had a moment where I was like, should I call it like getting through to year end for corporate partnership, like okayness or something like that? People don't sign up for that. So I did put maximizing year end for corporate partnership success. But if you're in the place where you're looking for strategies on how to simplify, how to make it easier, there are going to be some of those in the next few minutes. I am going to talk to all of you, both those of you who are trying to maximize right now and those of you who are trying to make it through. My name is Heather Nelson. I am the founder, lead consultant at BridgeRaise. We focus exclusively on corporate partnerships for charities and nonprofits. And it's with that expertise that I come to you today. I've gone through the year-end hustle with all of our clients in-house at both big and small organizations. And I have strategies to solve problems that have accumulated throughout the year, cut through some of the noise, and maximize some of the things that are happening in year end. So that's what we're going to do today. If you have questions, pop them in the chat. I'm happy to answer them. I will do my best to answer them along the way, but also afterwards. And I have a bunch of resources, some which have got like codes and things throughout. I'm going to bring up some slides and I have some of those in there, but I also have some in my back pocket and I'm going to add those to the chat after. So if you have any questions, perhaps I have a tool that will help you. It's giving season, so I'm going to be giving strategies, tips, tools, templates, all the things on this live today. Again, I'm happy to have you with me, and I hope this is going to be like a happy half hour for you, right? Because it's going to give you some suggestions and perhaps some permission to do things less. To do some less things. Okay, so I'm going to just bring up my little presentation here. As I said, I did go with maximizing year end for corporate partnership success, but there is going to be some strategies to simplify year end for your success as well. For those of you who I haven't met, I am a professional fundraiser, corporate partnership specialist. I love working with fundraisers. I love also my dog and being a hockey mom and traveling, which if you get to know me, I will celebrate all of those things with you. This QR code is to get to a tip sheet around some of the things I'm going to cover today, breaks them down in a written form in a step-by-step kind of way. So you're welcome to click on that, download that. I'll put the link again in the chat as we go. I've heard from some of you over the last little while. I feel like the corporate partnership fundraising group is in two categories, maybe all the time, but it's pronounced at this time of year, where either you're, one of the people who does all the things, and corporate is the thing that you think I can kind of ignore for now because it's not really so much a year-end thing as individual giving. And then there's the other group who are corporate partnership people all the time. And this might be, for some of you, a little bit of a less busy time, or at least you're not doing as many campaigns with individual companies, and you may have some year-end follow-up to do. So I'm just going to try to cover off both groups in this session with some different strategies. Either way, just think about this time with me as a chance to pull a few nuggets. Maybe there's a couple of little strategies that I'm going to give you that you're going to go back to your desk and say, yeah, this is going to work for me in the next little bit. Okay, so I'm going to get started with a few of these strategies. The first one I want to talk about with you is the be in touch strategy. So the year has passed. We're getting near the end. And for some of you, there may be some companies on your list that you should have been in touch with more often. There may also be some that you'd like to start a relationship with. You have all of these companies. One of my strategies for year end is this is a great time to reach out with the let's touch base in January strategy. I was talking to a fellow consultant and she's asked me the question, hey, are you at the point where you're saying, hey, let's get together in January yet? Because if so, let's get together in January. And I was like, perfect, right? Some things really do need to be done before the end of the year. And those things are going on my calendar for sure. But everything doesn't. Everything does not have an exploding deadline on December 31st. So for those things that don't, it's nice to put them in January, but it's also nice to move them forward now and not have the first communication about them be in January. So one of the strategies I have for you is it's okay to be in touch with people now and schedule it in January. Samantha on my team helps a lot of clients with, some of their moves management. And she said, I am getting great response from those outreaches that were saying it's okay to book in January. So Sam knows, and I'm encouraging you, use her strategy. On the be in touch strategy around this time of year, I also want to touch base on a gnarly thing that we all know about, the holiday card. Put a comment in if your team is dealing with like sorting emails and trying to figure out holiday cards, online virtual holiday greetings. Honestly, I can truly say that one of the least favorite tasks that I ever had in-house at an organization was trying to sort out who's getting the holiday card, digital card, the card. This is a notorious boondoggle at most organizations. Who's it coming from? What if we send it multiple times? Is the person going to be offended? Oh my goodness, right? Blows the mind how much time is spent on this. Let's just go into our own little worlds for a moment and ask ourselves, how often do we truly get upset with someone if we don't get their digital card? Conversely, how upset do you get if you get two? Maybe even personalized from different people. I mean, for me, honestly, I try to worry about the big stuff. If I get two digital cards from two different people at the same organization, I am not offended. I also don't cut off every organization who's been in touch with me all year or that regularly communicates with me if they don't send me a digital card or even a card in the mail. So here it is. I'm going to give you permission to stop worrying about the holiday greeting. If a few of your companies don't get on it, no biggie. If somebody gets it twice, also no biggie. Honestly, it's fine. What I would suggest, though, is instead of worrying about the fancy thing that your organization is doing or trying to come up with a fancy thing, you're better off putting aside an hour or so, and instead of looking at a list and spending all the time cross-referencing, write a personal email to the most important 20 or so. And by important, that might be, people you really want something to happen with, people who something amazing has happened with. Just take that time and write them a note, right? I promise you, it will be more impactful than the hours spent getting rid of dupes in the Excel spreadsheet. So personalized, couple of lines, I hope December is good for you. If you know what they are celebrating, you can then personalize it to that. You can send it anytime, the whole month of December. And even, first couple of weeks of January are good too. One of my organizations that I work with sends out the holiday greeting essentially in January intentionally. And I'm all for that, right? It's fine. So this is my be in touch like make it small strategy is focus your time on a personal email to a few people and not on making sure you don't miss a single human who's ever contacted or been in touch with you. There you go. All right. Hopefully I've made that easier for you already. Oh, I see a bunch of you are dealing with holiday greeting mayhem. You know what? I bet we could get almost everybody on that. Okay, leveraging Giving Tuesday. So first I want to say that there's all kinds of opinions about, is Giving Tuesday good, bad, or what otherwise. And as someone that's in the corporate partnership space, honestly, it's mostly an individual oriented campaign. And so I don't spend a lot of energy strategizing around Giving Tuesday. But businesses love buzzy things. And Giving Tuesday, in and around it's happening, is buzzy. So here's what I think. If you have, if we're sitting right here and you're just getting started, it really is too late for a very meaningful small business or corporate giving strategy. I do think there is room in some organizations for a Giving Tuesday strategy that is thoughtful and has multiple steps and is catered to companies. Sometimes we can use it for matching gifts or to amplify employee engagement. These are all possible. But it is November 16th right now, and Giving Tuesday is just around the corner. So it is too late for one of those big strategic moves. Yet, it still is on the calendar. It's going to be buzzy, and it's coming soon. So I have a few ideas to offer for you for Giving Tuesday. One of them is you can still, if you have something going on in your organization, you can send it to some of your companies and let them know what's going on. They might just, because it is buzzy, they might just think it's cool personally to be aware of what you're up to. Sometimes some of their employees will get on board. Maybe the organization itself is looking for something easy to do. Maybe they'll just, give you a bit of a gift for that so they can say something to their employees. Very low lift. This is not about a campaign. It's just person to person. Hey, this is what our organization is doing for Giving Tuesday if you have something going on. Let's say your organization is doing nothing for Giving Tuesday. No problem. I've got you. You can send a thank you to some of your partners from the past year saying, hey, it's Giving Tuesday. Everyone's talking about support, and I just wanted to say thank you to you. Really nice touch, really nice move. Another thing you can do is go in and support any of them that are doing something. So we will see within LinkedIn, within X or Twitter or Instagram, we will see some of our companies are doing things for Giving Tuesday. You can personally, if you have a personal profile in LinkedIn, you can make some comments on their things, or your organization can also say things on their Giving Tuesday campaigns. These little moves are like the subtle, small things that make a difference. And it can be you individually. I think often we get wrapped up in, well, my organization needs to do that. But I can't tell you how many corporate relationships I've built by personally in LinkedIn commenting on their things. So think about that as a strategy that's really easy for you to do. Doesn't require like a whole big strategy and just requires showing your support for what they're up to. And finally, the employee engagement piece. I do think that sometimes employees giving on Giving Tuesday is a thing at different organizations. Sometimes companies will send out email about Giving Tuesday and include a few charitable suggestions. So you might still be in a good time frame to get into that. And you could even make that suggestion to some of your partners and prospects. Did they know that Giving Tuesday is coming up? Do they want to mention if they have a giving platform, perhaps like Benevity or PayPal Giving that they're using? Can they ask their employees to give on Giving Tuesday? That sort of thing. So leverage Giving Tuesday. Think about it and all the small ways you can leverage it. This does not necessarily need to be a big organization-wide strategy. All right, next one. Okay. Truth. All of us have done this. We've put some kind of recognition or benefit into an agreement and then missed it, not done it. Or we have that beauty benefit grid with all the lines and little check marks, and we're like going to do that stuff. And then we get busy and we forget, and stuff doesn't happen. Many of these things are done on an annual calendar, and many of us think about those benefits on an annual calendar, even if our fiscal is not annual. So here it is. The next 6 weeks are a great time to figure out a way to fulfill some of those benefits. That might mean you do a LinkedIn post that says thank you to a number of companies. It may mean you write up a thank you letter and have your ED sign off on a few thank you letters that you mail to say thank you. It may be, a story that you share from your beneficiaries, and you just write a few sentences, share a story, and just catch up that way. I highly recommend pulling out the calendar, putting a little block on, and looking through some of those benefit grids, some of those agreements, and doing a little bit of a catch up. If there's just not space in the calendar to fit it in before year end, at least you are kind of scheduling it for January, February, which tends to be a very low period in comms and marketing and direct mail for many charities. So worst case scenario, you can't squeeze it in before the end of the year, and you're going to fulfill on this year's stuff early in next year. At least you can signal that. You can send your partner a note saying, our calendar is super busy. We can give you more space and time in January. Maybe you can give them a bonus post to smooth over the fact that it's late, right? It's all good. We are, the calendar is not that important for the purposes of fulfilling benefits, but keeping your eye on what you've done and not done is important. And if you need to stretch the calendar a little bit into January, February, for most partners, that is not going to be a big deal. And the end of the year gives you this moment in time to sort of catch up and fill the gaps and deal with it, right? It's way easier, in my opinion, to do it before the year end and signal it than after you've passed the calendar and you're more looking backwards and apologizing. Any of you thinking that might be a strategy? I'd love to see that some of you are going to do that. Okay. This one is really for the people who have a little bit more time on their December calendar. Do an open for business audit. I've talked about this less often, I feel recently, but I used to talk about this a lot in sessions, and it came up for me again. Are you open for business is a concept we use at Bridge Raise to really reflect this idea of does your social media, your website, your communications show companies and small business that you want to work with them? And how do you do that? Well, it could be a page on your website that, says bluntly, we work with companies. It could be that in your recognition page where you say thank you, there are company logos, and that page is up to date, right? It shows recent information. It may be your LinkedIn or social media pages have employee engagement thank yous, companies associated with different initiatives, maybe an event. It could be with a specific program, but there's something that shows in those feeds that there is a connection between your organization and companies. This is like being open for business. And this time of year, if you're one of the people that has a little bit more space, maybe this is a time that you just kind of look at your website, you look and check, is it up to date? Have we got the logos right? Are we missing somebody? Are we showing companies that we want to work with them? Similarly in social. And when I say social, yes, it can be any platform, but LinkedIn particularly. Is this a time, if LinkedIn has been kind of abandoned in your social media strategy, to put up a few thank yous on your company page? I see a few of the organizations represented in the chat here are big organizations. I know they're all over LinkedIn, but for some of you who are maybe newer in your corporate partnership journey, thank you post. We love working with companies post, an employee engagement post, or thank you in LinkedIn is a really powerful move, because that's where companies are, especially the community investment professionals. They're there. They're looking at what their organizations are doing, and therefore can also spot you. If you want some help with a business audit, we do have some questions and things you can look at and tip sheets for that. So you can DM me and I can send you some links, and I'll put a couple links in the chat. Okay, moving on from making it about them. We're going to do a little bit of about me stuff. Build up your win folder. Fundraisers, you guys are notorious for like already going on to next year. I was just on a call with somebody, I'm going to tell you, with the leader of the Students' Commission of Canada. They just finished working with us on Take Our Kids to Work Day. It was amazing success. And already we started talking about 2024. I'm like, hey, we need to do some more celebrating of 2023. It just happened on November 1st. We don't need to be talking about next year yet. Let's celebrate this moment, right? So the win folder, I need you all to take a few moments over the next little while to think about your wins from the last year. You are doing amazing. You're doing all the things you can possibly fit. You're taking all the responsibility for what you've committed to. Some of the things have worked out awesome. I know it. Write them down. Save that special email where someone commented on how well it worked. Screen grab it. Put some stuff in that win folder for the dark days of February, right? Where we are not feeling as excited about things. Most of us have more wins at this time of year. So I encourage you to take the time to collect some of them. And I'm going to do the same, because the small business world is no different. You know, you often get going and are on to the next thing. So let's collect our wins, put them in a folder so that we can check it later. And, you know, I said this at the beginning and I'll say it again. I love celebrating with people. So don't hesitate to tell me some of your wins. I will say it was National Philanthropy Day yesterday. So I hope some of you celebrated then. And I was at AFP Golden Horseshoe, which is my region in Canada, outside of Hamilton. Oh, it's actually in Hamilton. I live outside of Hamilton. But we were celebrating awards for youth in philanthropy. So powerful. Love that one. Company, philanthropist, all these things. There was one award that was for a fundraising professional, but in the room, there were so many fundraisers who made these awards happen, who made so many great things happen in our community this year. And National Philanthropy Day for me is about celebrating them. And so it's just really on my mind right now. I want to share with you, fundraising can be really hard, and I love celebrating fundraisers. So don't forget to celebrate your wins and share them. And here we are, celebrate and rest. So I also think that for many of us, we have like a month to go before hopefully a little break. Many of our organizations either close or go quite quiet over the end of December, beginning of January, which is kind of weird because on the flip side, the 29th, 30th, 31st are consistently big giving days on the individual side. We don't see that as much on the corporate side. So, you know, there is more of an opportunity to do some final follow-ups through December if you do have some people with a calendar year end and you're trying to get their pledges or money in. And absolutely, that's important to do those follow-ups. But I also see late December and early January as an opportunity to rest. There is less negotiating, building, developing of partnerships happening at this time. Small business things, yes, but the bigger things tend not to happen in that period. So that gives you a chance to rest, and I encourage you to do so. We all need time to recuperate, rest. Sometimes, I mean, I don't know about you, but when I'm on walks, when I'm having a rest or break, that's where some of my best ideas come from. So I encourage that to be part of your plans as we talk about corporate partnerships success. Your success is making sure that you're healthy and you're rested so that you can help build really strong relationships and partnerships and ideas for your organization in 2024. So put that on your calendar. When's you're out of office, or when's your downtime? When are you giving yourself some like good chunky blocks of time to strategize and think and ideate about what can happen next? I hope there's some of that. And then I also hope on the flip side, there's some time for balance, some time for your family, your friends, your quiet time, activities, if that's what you like to get up to in December. Definitely some of those things on the list. Okay. So I am in the camp of everything doesn't have to be perfect. Some of these tips along the way are about letting go of perfection and like letting yourself do some things that are good enough. Reaching out with a quick email at holiday time instead of a fancy card. Accepting that you didn't do a big fancy Giving Tuesday strategy and using it for like a light ask or a thank you. Spending some time filling those gaps and mistakes. But take some action in your corporate portfolio. You know, it is still a good time for the booking the January meeting and taking some small actions. So let's see some small actions, but action. If you need an ear, I'm here. DM me. This is the QR code again for that tip sheet. If you want that, if you want something else that I've mentioned, then please let me know. Ask about it. Thank you so much for joining me today. For me, the sun is shining here, and I'm having a good day, and it's fun to spend some time with you. So here I am. I'm back full screen. Thank you, everybody. Again, this is maximizing your end for corporate partnership success. And the tip I want to leave with you is you've had a great year. I know you have. I feel very confident in saying this. And so it can be maximizing to take some rest, celebrate, and just take a few actions that are a little bit less than perfect. And congratulate yourself on a year well done. I hope this helped. I hope you got a few nuggets. Thank you for all of you who have joined in the chat. I really appreciate you, and have a really, really great day. Okay. Take care, all.